The vast blackness of space stretched endlessly, dotted with tiny points of light. Stars twinkled like distant fires, calm and silent, but the quiet was deceptive. Somewhere beyond the reach of human sight, a threat waited. Captain Marcus Hale of the human battle fleet stared at the holographic display in the command room of the flagship Resolute. Lines and signals danced across the screen, showing movement far away, subtle at first, almost like a shadow shifting in the dark. "Captain," Lieutenant Arya Chen said, her voice calm but tense, "our sensors are picking up something. I'm not sure what it is." Marcus leaned closer, his brow furrowed. "How far out?" "Approximately 40 million kilometers. It's moving fast, but it's unlike anything we have in our database." Marcus felt a cold thrill run down his spine. Humans had explored the galaxy for decades, but this was different. Something large. Something organized. He could sense it, even without seeing it fully. His fleet, dozens of ships spread out in formation, was ready for patrol, but now patrol had turned into the first line of defense. "Alert all units," Marcus ordered. "Prepare for potential contact. I want shields up and weapons ready." The crew moved efficiently, their training precise. In moments, the hum of energy fields filled the command room, and the displays lit up with the positions of every ship. A quiet tension settled over the crew. No one spoke more than necessary. They all knew this was the moment that could change everything. Outside, in the cold void, tiny dots began to move, growing larger, forming a shadowy fleet. The enemy revealed itself slowly, as if testing the humans, measuring them. Ships of strange design glinted faintly in distant light, their shapes jagged and alien. Some were massive, dwarfed only by the human flagship. The scale of the threat made Marcus swallow hard. "Open a channel," he said, though he did not expect an answer. Static. Then a voice, harsh and alien, crackled through the speakers. It was not a language humans had heard before, but the tone carried a message loud and clear. "Intruders. Destroy them." The crew tensed. For a moment, silence returned, broken only by the soft hum of machinery. Then, without warning, the first enemy ship fired. A beam of brilliant energy streaked across the void toward the human fleet. Alarms blared. The light hit the edge of the formation, and a shockwave rocked nearby ships. "Shields holding," reported Commander Juno, her voice steady. "But they are strong. They hit harder than expected." Marcus clenched his fists. He had trained for this, studied the tactics, and led drills, but nothing prepared him for the reality of the enemy's firepower. His fleet was large, human ingenuity at its finest, but against this unknown threat, it felt fragile. "Return fire," he ordered. "Target the lead ship. Concentrate all firepower. Let's see what they can do against us." Cannons glowed on human ships, releasing streaks of energy. The beams cut through darkness, striking enemy hulls. Explosions lit up the void, sudden and bright against the blackness. The enemy faltered for a moment, then regrouped. Their movements were precise, coordinated. Marcus realized they were not just attacking, they were testing, probing, learning. "Captain, sensors show multiple ships closing in," Arya said. "They are faster than expected." Marcus knew a direct fight could cost many human lives. They needed strategy, not just strength. "Form the defensive grid," he said. "Keep the flagship at the center. Draw them in. Don't let them isolate any ship." Around him, crew members moved with practiced efficiency, executing commands like clockwork. The fleet shifted, a living organism in space, ready to fight or vanish at the right moment. Outside, the enemy continued its advance. Shadows of immense ships moved in patterns that were almost hypnotic, yet deadly. Marcus walked to the observation deck, staring into the dark. The crew behind him felt the same mix of fear and excitement. Humans had always been explorers, never warriors in the true sense. Yet here, in the vast emptiness, they were forced to become both. A sudden alert made Marcus freeze. "Sir, incoming wave," Juno called. "They're targeting multiple ships at once." It could be a trap. The human fleet reacted instantly. Weapons fired, shields flared, and explosions lit the darkness like fireworks. The first exchange ended almost as quickly as it began, leaving behind silence that was heavier than before. Marcus exhaled slowly. No human ship had been destroyed, but the enemy had shown its power. Every eye in the command room was fixed on the display, waiting, wondering what would happen next. "Sir," Arya said quietly, this could be it. The real fight is about to start." Marcus nodded, feeling a strange mix of fear and determination. Humans had come far, building this fleet, reaching out to the stars, but nothing had prepared them for this moment. Somewhere out there, the enemy watched, calculating, ready, and humans would have to show them what they were capable of. The void of space waited. The stars did not blink. The humans held their breath, and in that silence, the first sparks of destiny began to ignite. The enemy fleet emerged from the darkness like a storm breaking over the horizon. Hundreds of alien ships moved in perfect formation, their shapes jagged and unlike anything humans had ever seen. Some glowed faintly with energy, while others were dark and ominous, as if absorbing the starlight itself. The human fleet held its breath, watching the massive shadow slowly approach. "Captain," Aryachin said, her voice tight, "their numbers, it's more than we expected." Marcus Hale's jaw tightened. He had anticipated a fight, but not this. The enemy was vast, organized, and clearly not afraid. Every ship seemed to have a purpose, moving with terrifying precision. "They're not just attacking," Marcus said, his eyes scanning the holographic display. "They're studying us, measuring our response. They want to know what we can do before they strike." The crew of the Resolute shifted uneasily. Humans were not used to facing such intelligent and disciplined opponents. Most alien encounters had been small, isolated skirmishes. This was something else entirely, a true battle fleet designed for war. An officer spoke up from the sensor station. "Captain, they're sending a signal. It's not language, but it's a threat. They're telling us to leave, or be destroyed." Marcus knew there was no way to retreat. The humans had come too far, and leaving now would be seen as weakness. "Prepare all ships for combat," he said. "We hold our ground. Fire only if they attack first. Watch their formation, learn their patterns." Outside, the alien ships continued their approach. Their energy glints reflected off the human fleet's shields, creating a surreal display of light and shadow. Some crew members whispered quietly among themselves. Fear was natural, but so was determination. Humans had faced impossible odds before, and they had survived. "Captain, the lead alien ship, it's enormous," Juno said from the command station. "It looks like a command vessel. Targeting it might disrupt their formation." Marcus studied the display carefully. The ship was massive, with spires and antennae jutting out at sharp angles. Its hull seemed almost impenetrable, glowing with strange energy. "Not yet," Marcus said. "We observe. We wait. We strike only when the time is right." Suddenly, one of the alien ships fired. A beam of bright blue energy lanced through space, cutting toward a human destroyer at the edge of the fleet. The crew reacted instantly, raising shields and returning fire. The destroyer shuddered under the impact, but it held. "Status," Marcus demanded. "Shields at 70%, the officer replied. "But their energy, it's unlike anything we've faced before. It's precise, almost intelligent." The human fleet fired back in unison. Cannons glowed, beams of energy streaking across the void, striking alien hulls. Small explosions lit the darkness, sending shards of metal drifting into space. But the alien ships barely faltered. They moved as one, almost dancing around the human fire. Marcus clenched his fists. "They're fast. Too fast. Keep formation. Don't let them isolate any ship. Target the lead vessel if possible. Watch their patterns. We can learn from them." The enemy adjusted instantly, almost as if anticipating human tactics. Their formation shifted, surrounding the fleet in a crescent that threatened to cut off the Resolute. Panic could have spread, but the crew remained focused. Humans had always relied on ingenuity, and now they would need every ounce of it. A young officer at the tactical station spoke nervously. "Sir, they're closing in from multiple vectors. They could strike from any direction." Marcus nodded. "Let them. We are ready. The fleet is stronger than they think. We are humans. We adapt. We fight. And we survive." As the alien ships drew closer, the tension became almost unbearable. The void outside seemed alive with potential destruction. Every heartbeat of the crew felt magnified. Some looked at the weapon screens, some at the dark expanse outside, but all felt the weight of the moment. Then, as if testing the humans further, the enemy fleet fired again. Beams of energy streaked through space, some hitting shields, some narrowly missing. The sound of alarms filled the Resolute, echoing through the corridors. The crew responded with efficiency and calm, their training holding them steady. Marcus moved to the observation deck, staring out at the alien armada. He saw the massive command ship, the rows of smaller warships, and the faint glow of distant reinforcements. Every human crew member present knew one thing: they were about to face their greatest challenge. But Marcus also saw something else. In the formation of the enemy fleet, he noticed a flaw, subtle but real. A small gap between two ships, almost invisible. He smiled faintly. "They think they are invincible," he muttered. "They will learn soon enough that humans do not give up." The tension remained, heavy and palpable, but hope flickered. Humans had come far, and they would not retreat. The enemy was massive, organized, and deadly, but so was human ingenuity and courage. Somewhere in the void, the first moves of a battle that would shake the galaxy were being made. Marcus turned to his officers. "Prepare the fleet. Observation is over. The fight is about to begin. Remember, humans do not back down. Stay focused. Watch, learn, and strike when the moment is right." Outside, the alien ships glowed in the darkness. Inside, the human fleet braced for what could be the most important moment in their history. The calm before the storm was ending, and the first clash of titans was about to erupt. The silence before the storm shattered in an instant. Alien ships fired without warning, bright beams cutting through the black void like lightning. Explosions flared on the edge of the human fleet, shaking smaller vessels and sending metal debris spinning into space. Alarms blared across every ship, and the hum of shields working overtime filled the command rooms. "Shields at 90%, Lieutenant Arya Chen reported. "But their firepower is immense. They're targeting multiple ships at once." Captain Marcus Hale gritted his teeth. He had expected a fight, but this was beyond any simulation or drill he had ever seen. The enemy attacked with precision, as if reading the humans' every move before it happened. "Return fire. Target their lead ship and the flankers," Marcus ordered. "Focus on defense, but don't let them dominate us." Cannons lit up across the human fleet. Beams of energy streaked through the darkness, striking alien hulls. Explosions erupted in sudden bursts, bright against the void, casting shadows across nearby ships. The humans had firepower, but the enemy was fast, moving in ways that seemed impossible, dodging attacks with an almost living intelligence. On the bridge of the Resolute, crew members worked like a single organism. Weapons officers adjusted aim, shield engineers reinforced failing barriers, and tactical officers tracked enemy movements with laser-like focus. Every second counted. Every mistake could be fatal. "Captain, the aliens are concentrating on the left flank," Commander Juno said. "If they break through there, they could isolate the frigates. Casualties could be high." Marcus's jaw tightened. "Reinforce the left. All ships in that sector, hold formation. Fire only when the enemy is in range. Predict their moves, don't react blindly." Outside, the battle raged. Human ships weaved through the onslaught, dodging energy beams while firing back with careful precision. Smaller frigates acted as decoys, drawing enemy fire while the larger vessels prepared their counterattack. Sparks and flashes lit the darkness like a deadly fireworks display. Suddenly, an alien vessel broke formation, charging directly at a human destroyer. Marcus's eyes widened. "Intercept," he shouted. "Do not let them breach the line." Fighter ships launched from the human fleet, darting toward the incoming threat like silver streaks. They collided with the alien vessel mid-flight, exchanging energy beams that made the void glow. The destroyer fired its main cannon, striking the alien ship's hull. Sparks flew, and a section of the enemy vessel erupted in fire. But more ships closed in, relentless. Marcus turned to Arya. "Their weapons. They're adaptive. Every shot we fire, they adjust. Watch their patterns carefully. We have to outsmart them, not just outgun them." The crew nodded. They had trained for moments like this, but nothing could fully prepare them for the chaos outside. The human fleet moved like a living organism, shields flaring, weapons firing, ships spinning to avoid destruction. Every move was calculated, every action critical. Then came a moment that made time seem to slow. A massive alien warship, glowing with bright blue energy, fired a concentrated beam directly at the Resolute. The flagship shuddered under the impact, alarms blaring across the bridge. Crew members were thrown from their seats, and sparks rained down from the ceiling. "Shields at 50%. Juno shouted. "If they hit again, the hull could breach." Marcus clenched his fists. "Focus fire on that ship. Everyone, aim for the energy core. Take it down before it destroys us." Cannons fired in unison, beams converging on the massive alien vessel. The human fleet's combined firepower struck like a hammer, battering the enemy hull. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen, and the bridge held its collective breath. Then the alien ship exploded in a blinding flash, fragments scattering across the void. The humans cheered, but the battle was far from over. "Other ships are retreating," Arya reported. "The enemy is reorganizing. They've lost one of their command vessels." Marcus nodded. "Good. That gives us an opening. But stay alert. They are intelligent, and they will strike again. Prepare for the next wave." The human fleet moved quickly to capitalize on their success. Smaller ships targeted weakened alien vessels, striking with speed and precision. Every explosion that rocked the void was a step toward victory, but Marcus knew better than to underestimate the enemy. In the observation deck, he watched as alien ships regrouped. Their formations were disrupted, but they were not defeated. They would learn, adapt, and strike again. The humans had fought well, but the battle had only begun. "Captain," Juno said quietly, "the fleet held, but at what cost? Damage reports are coming in. Some ships are barely operational." Marcus took a deep breath. "We hold, we fight, we survive. Humans do not give up. We adapt. We overcome." Outside, the void remained dark, but flashes of fire and energy lit the blackness. The first exchange had ended, but the tension lingered. The humans had shown strength and skill, but the enemy was not finished. Somewhere in the shadows, alien minds were calculating, ready to counter. Marcus turned to his officers. "We've made them hesitate. That's our advantage. Study their movements, anticipate their next attack, and strike with precision. The fight is far from over, but we will win." In the distance, the enemy fleet glimmered, vast and terrifying, yet faltering for the first time. The humans had shown their power, their courage, and their determination. And as the Resolute led the fleet forward, a single thought echoed in every mind aboard the ships. They were not just survivors. They were humans, and they were ready to fight for the stars. The void of space glowed with flashes of energy as the human fleet pressed forward. The first clash had tested their strength, revealed the enemy's tactics, and shown them the cost of hesitation. Captain Marcus Hale stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes fixed on the holographic display. The enemy had regrouped, but the humans were ready. "Prepare the counterattack," Marcus ordered. "Focus on precision. Hit them where they are weakest, and hit hard. Let them know humans do not retreat. Cannons flared across the fleet. Beams of concentrated energy streaked through the darkness, striking alien ships with deadly accuracy. Explosions lit the void, sending fragments of alien hulls spinning into space. Every strike was calculated, every attack coordinated. The humans were no longer reacting, they were controlling the fight. Lieutenant Arya Chen monitored the enemy movements. Captain, their formation is breaking. The smaller ships are retreating, trying to regroup around the command vessel. Marcus nodded. Good. That's our opening. Target the flanks and isolate their command ship. We hit them now, and we hit them together. The human fleet surged forward, moving like a single organism. Fighters darted between the massive alien warships, striking weak points and drawing enemy fire. Destroyers and cruisers fired in unison, energy beams converging on the alien vessels, battering their shields and hulls. From the observation deck, Marcus watched in awe. The fleet moved with precision, each ship anticipating the others, each crew member performing at peak efficiency. Humans had always been inventive, but here, in the darkness of space, their ingenuity shone brightest. Suddenly, one of the massive alien ships attempted a sudden flank, moving behind a line of human frigates. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Interceptor squads, block their path. Do not let them break through. Silver streaks of human fighter ships shot across the void, colliding with the alien vessel mid-flight. Energy beams danced across its hull, sparks erupting as shields strained under pressure. The alien ship faltered, losing formation, and several smaller vessels broke off to assist it. Target the command ship now, Marcus shouted. Concentrated fire, all units. The Resolute fired its main cannons, beams striking the massive alien command ship's energy core. Explosions erupted across its hull, lighting the darkness like a second sun. Smaller human vessels added their firepower, hitting weak points and forcing the alien fleet to scatter. Sir, Arya said, her voice filled with excitement, their formation is collapsing. They're trying to escape, but we're cutting them off. Marcus smiled faintly. Good. Keep pressure on. Precision, not panic. Focus on control, not chaos. The alien ships, massive and deadly, were beginning to falter. Their movements became erratic as humans anticipated every strike, every maneuver. Beams of energy flashed across the void, explosions followed in rapid succession, and slowly, steadily, the humans began to dominate the battlefield. On the bridge, crew members cheered quietly, but Marcus knew better than to celebrate too early. Stay alert, he warned. They're learning from us. They will adapt if we let them. Keep the pressure, but watch for counterattacks. A young tactical officer spoke up, voice trembling with excitement. Captain, sensors show several of their ships disabled. The command vessel is losing power. They won't last much longer. Marcus nodded. Excellent. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Strike with everything we've got, but do not waste energy. Target weak points, hit precise. Make this quick and decisive. The fleet surged forward, beams and missiles converging on the alien command ship. The explosions grew brighter, the hull cracking under relentless assault. Smaller ships scattered, unable to protect it. The humans moved with terrifying efficiency, their strategy and precision overwhelming the enemy. Outside, the void shimmered with destruction. Alien ships were either fleeing, breaking apart, or exploding under the relentless human assault. The battle had shifted. Humans were no longer on the defensive, they were the masters of this battlefield. On the bridge of the Resolute, Marcus allowed himself a moment to breathe. The humans had shown their strength, their courage, and their ingenuity. They had turned the tide. Yet the captain knew the enemy was still dangerous. One misstep, one overlooked detail, and the battle could swing back in an instant. Prepare for the final phase, Marcus said, eyes on the command display. Focus fire on the remaining key vessels. We finish this now. The crew moved with renewed energy. Cannons blazed, shields flared, and missiles streaked through space. The alien fleet, massive and terrifying just moments ago, now faltered under human precision. Their command ship shook violently under concentrated fire, systems failing, and one by one, smaller ships either exploded or fled into the darkness. "Sir," Arya said, awe in her voice, "we're erasing them. The fleet, it's collapsing." Marcus nodded, a hard edge of determination on his face. "Then we finish them. Humanity doesn't just survive, we dominate when we must." The void outside lit with final bursts of fire. The enemy fleet, once organized and threatening, was now scattered, broken, and vulnerable. The humans had struck with brilliance, precision, and courage, proving the true strength of their fleet. As Marcus watched, a quiet satisfaction filled him. The humans had not just defended themselves, they had taken control. And in the darkness of space, a message was clear. The human fleet had arrived, and they were unstoppable. The human fleet held its formation, glimmering like a shielded line of stars against the darkness. The first blows had been struck, the enemy fleet faltering, yet the battle was far from over. Captain Marcus Hale watched carefully, knowing the aliens were not defeated, only challenged. "Sir," Lieutenant Arya Chan reported, "the enemy command ship is attempting a coordinated counterattack. They're trying to regroup the remaining vessels around it." Marcus narrowed his eyes. "Of course they are. They've learned quickly. But so have we. Prepare the fleet. Focus on predicting their moves, not just reacting to them." The alien ships moved with sudden speed, closing in from multiple directions. Their energy weapons flared, creating streaks of light across the void. The humans reacted instantly, adjusting shields and targeting the most dangerous threats first. The first wave of alien energy beams hit a cruiser, shaking it violently. Sparks flew, alarms blared, but the crew held steady. "Damage reports?" Marcus asked. "Some hull breaches," Commander Juno replied, "but nothing critical. Shields are holding, though they're draining faster than expected." Marcus's mind raced. He knew the battle had reached a turning point. The aliens were no longer just probing, they were fighting with full intent, realizing that humans were stronger than anticipated. Every move they made now was calculated, desperate to regain control. "Concentrate fire on their command ship," Marcus said. "If we take it down, the rest will falter. Don't scatter our focus. Precision over power." The fleet obeyed. Cannons and missiles converged on the alien command vessel, beams striking in unison, energy flares exploding across its hull. Smaller human ships flanked the remaining enemy vessels, cutting off escape routes. Every strike was timed, coordinated, and deadly. But the aliens were smart. Their fleet shifted rapidly, surrounding a group of human frigates. The crew held their breath as the enemy prepared to fire a massive, concentrated energy beam. "Brace for impact," Marcus shouted. The beam hit the shields, sending shockwaves through the frigates. The human fleet wobbled but held firm. Repairs and shields adjusted instantly. Every crew member moved like a single unit, countering the assault, firing back with lethal precision. "Captain," Arya said, voice tight with tension, "they're adapting to our attacks. Every strike we make, they adjust immediately." Marcus clenched his fists. "Then we adapt faster. Humans survive not because we are the strongest, but because we learn, we think, and we act together. Watch them, predict them, and strike when the moment comes." For a few tense minutes, the battle turned into a deadly dance. Alien ships darted in unpredictable patterns, firing, dodging, and regrouping, while humans anticipated each move. Explosions lit the darkness, flashes reflecting off hulls, beams streaking across the void like deadly lightning. Every second felt like hours, every moment a test of nerves and skill. Then, a small but critical opportunity appeared. The alien command ship, massive and glowing with energy, made a slight miscalculation, its shields dipped for a fraction of a second. Marcus saw it instantly. "Fire everything at the energy core," he shouted. "Now!" Cannons blazed, beams converging on the command vessel's weak point. The ship shook violently under the combined assault. Sparks erupted, Hull plates twisted and cracked, and smaller ships nearby wavered as their connection to the command vessel faltered. The humans had struck the turning blow. The alien fleet hesitated, confusion spreading like wildfire. Their precision faltered, and cracks appeared in their formations. The humans pressed the advantage, striking quickly at the disrupted flanks. Every explosion, every strike, reinforced the message. Humans were not only strong, they were clever, coordinated, and unyielding. Marcus exhaled slowly. The turning point had been reached. The enemy, once confident and menacing, now faltered under human ingenuity and relentless strategy. "Sir," Juno said, "the command ship is critically damaged. Other enemy ships are retreating, disorganized." Marcus nodded. "Good. Maintain formation. Do not let them recover. Push forward carefully. They are intelligent, and they may try one last desperate move." Aria's eyes scanned the displays. "They are retreating, but some ships are heading toward the outer edge of the fleet. It looks like they may try to regroup for another strike." "Let them," Marcus said calmly. "We hold our position. Precision, not panic. If they return, we will be ready. Humans adapt. Humans survive. And humans fight smarter than anyone in the galaxy." Outside, the void glimmered with scattered explosions, debris drifting in the silence between flashes of fire. The alien fleet, once a single, terrifying force, was now fractured, hesitant, and faltering. Humans had turned the tide, showing the enemy the cost of underestimating them. Marcus looked at his crew. Every face reflected relief, determination, and a spark of pride. Humans had faced the impossible and gained the upper hand. But he knew better than to celebrate. In the vast darkness of space, threats could rise again at any moment. "Prepare for potential counterattacks," Marcus said. "But for now, we have the advantage. The battle has shifted. Humans are in control." The fleet adjusted its formation, shields still up, weapons ready. Every crew member knew the lesson of this turning point. Courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the most fearsome enemy. And as the Resolute led the fleet forward, Marcus felt a quiet certainty that humans were capable of more than anyone had ever imagined. The alien fleet faltered, scattered like leaves in a storm. Their command ship was crippled, and the remaining vessels were in chaos. Captain Marcus Hale of the Resolute stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the displays. The humans had fought brilliantly, but now was the moment to strike decisively. "Prepare the final assault," Marcus ordered, his voice calm but commanding. "Concentrate all firepower on the remaining enemy ships. We finish this now." The crew moved quickly. Cannons charged, missiles lined up, and fighter squads launched in unison. Every human ship was a part of a single plan, executing it with deadly precision. The aliens had power, numbers, and experience. But humans had strategy, unity, and focus. Lieutenant Aria Chen's fingers danced across the control panel. "Captain," targeting the remaining vessels, shields weakening rapidly. "They won't hold much longer." Marcus nodded. "Good. Maintain focus. Precision first, then overwhelming force. Leave nothing to chance." The Resolute fired its main cannons, energy beams slicing through space with unerring accuracy. Smaller ships followed, striking weak points, cutting off escape routes. The alien ships fired back, but their coordination was gone. Their weapons struck empty space, misfired, or barely grazed human shields. Panic and confusion rippled through the enemy formation. "Sir," Arya said, excitement creeping into her voice, "their command ship, it's about to collapse. Their smaller vessels can't hold without it." Marcus felt a thrill of determination. "Then we give them no chance. Target every ship that remains. Precision and speed. End this battle before they can regroup." Energy beams struck alien vessels in perfect unison. Explosions lit the void, some so bright they turned blackness into a fleeting day of fire. One by one, enemy ships erupted, torn apart by human precision and overwhelming force. Sparks and fragments spun in space as the aliens' defenses crumbled. The human fleet moved like a single organism, deadly and unstoppable. Fighters darted through the wreckage, striking remaining ships, while cruisers and destroyers delivered the final blows. Each shot was calculated, no wasted energy, no hesitation. Marcus watched as the alien command ship's hull buckled, then exploded in a blinding flash. The energy wave from its destruction rippled across the void, knocking smaller ships into disarray. The humans did not pause, they struck relentlessly, ensuring nothing could survive. "Captain," Commander Juno said, awe in her voice. "They're gone. The fleet is erased." Marcus exhaled slowly, staring at the displays. The alien fleet that had once threatened the human sector was now nothing more than drifting debris. Silence returned to the void, heavy and profound, broken only by the hum of human ships. The crew of the Resolute cheered quietly, relief and pride evident on every face. But Marcus remained at the observation deck, watching the scattered wreckage of the enemy. He knew this victory was more than destruction. It was a message. Humans had arrived, and any who underestimated them would meet the same fate. "Sir," Arya said, still scanning the wreckage, "all enemy ships are destroyed. Sensors detect no life signs. The sector is clear." Marcus nodded, a mix of satisfaction and gravity in his eyes. "Humans did not just fight. We dominated. We showed what we are capable of. Remember this, crew. This is what human determination, courage, and unity can achieve." Outside, the stars shone as if applauding, though the silence of space made it seem almost eerie. Debris from the alien fleet floated slowly, remnants of their ambition scattered in the emptiness. The human fleet moved carefully among the wreckage, checking for survivors, repairing minor damages, and securing the sector. On the bridge, Marcus allowed a brief moment to breathe. Humans had faced an enemy that seemed unstoppable and had erased it in seconds with strategy, skill, and unity. He looked at his crew and felt a quiet pride. These were not just warriors. They were pioneers, explorers, and protectors of humanity. "Prepare for status reports," Marcus ordered. "We secure this sector, then regroup. The battle is over, but our vigilance continues. Space is vast, and there will be more challenges ahead." Arya smiled faintly. "Captain, we did it. They didn't stand a chance." Marcus's gaze returned to the void. "No. But it's not just about defeating them. It's about showing the galaxy that humans will fight, will survive, and will prevail. Remember this moment. Humanity has arrived." The fleet moved forward, leaving the wreckage behind. The stars stretched endlessly, silent witnesses to the victory. The human battle fleet, unstoppable and precise, had erased the enemy in seconds. Yet somewhere in the vast darkness, Marcus knew that new threats would emerge. The war was far from over, but for now, humans had won, and the universe had witnessed their might. The void was calm again, but it was a quiet calm that carried weight. The alien fleet was gone, erased in seconds by the human battle fleet's precision and strategy. Captain Marcus Hale stood on the observation deck of the Resolute, looking out at the drifting debris. Stars twinkled beyond, indifferent to the destruction that had just taken place. Yet for the humans, this moment was monumental. They had faced what seemed unstoppable, and prevailed. "Captain," Lieutenant Arya Chen said softly, "all enemy ships are destroyed. No signs of survivors." Marcus nodded slowly, his gaze steady. "Good. But this is only the beginning. Space is vast, and there are always more threats waiting. Today, we survived and proved ourselves, but tomorrow, the challenge may be even greater." The crew moved with purpose, scanning the sector, checking for debris, repairing minor damages, and ensuring no hidden dangers remained. Even in victory, Marcus knew caution was essential. Overconfidence could cost lives. The humans had triumphed because of skill, strategy, and unity, not luck. Commander Juno approached him. "Captain, the fleet did brilliantly. Humans have shown the galaxy what we're capable of." Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "Yes. But this victory is a reminder. Power alone isn't enough. It's intelligence, teamwork, and courage that make humans strong. Remember that. He turned back to the vast expanse outside. The void stretched endlessly, beautiful and dangerous. Every star, every shadow could hide threats unknown. Yet humanity had carved its place here, not as prey, but as conquerors of space and masters of their own destiny. "Sir," Arya said, her voice filled with awe, "this will change everything. Other civilizations, they'll know humans are not to be underestimated." Marcus's eyes narrowed slightly, thoughtful. "Let them know. Let them watch. But we do not fight for fear or intimidation. We fight for survival, for exploration, and for the right to exist. Every ship, every crew member, every human in this fleet, has earned this." Outside, the fleet gathered in formation. Ships glowed softly against the blackness, shields humming faintly, weapons idle but ready. The humans had won this battle, but the lessons of war remained. Marcus knew this peace was temporary. Somewhere in the galaxy, more eyes watched, waiting for the right moment to challenge humanity. And when that moment came, humans would be ready. "Set course for the nearest starbase," Marcus said. "We regroup, repair, and prepare. Today was a victory, but tomorrow, the universe will test us again." The crew carried out the orders efficiently, their morale high but their minds sharp. They had faced annihilation and emerged victorious. Each ship, each pilot, each soldier had played a role in erasing the enemy in seconds. And now, the humans could reflect on what they had accomplished, yet remain vigilant for the unknown that lay ahead. Marcus lingered on the observation deck, thinking of the future. Humans had arrived in this sector, and their presence would echo throughout the stars. Other civilizations would remember this day, this fleet, and the courage of humanity. But he also knew one truth above all else. Space was infinite, and the battles to come would require the same cunning, bravery, and unity that had won today. "Captain," Juno said quietly, "the fleet is secure. Damage is minimal. Morale is high. Humans have truly proven themselves." Marcus nodded, feeling a quiet pride. "Yes. But remember, victory is only the first step. The universe is vast, and we are only beginning to understand it. We have power, yes, but we also have responsibility. Humans must continue to explore, to defend, and to rise above any threat. That is our path." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. The silence of space was deep, yet it was no longer intimidating. It was a canvas for humanity's potential, a place where courage and determination could shape destiny. Humans had survived, fought, and dominated when necessary. They had erased an enemy in seconds, and in doing so, had shown the galaxy their strength. As the fleet moved forward toward the starbase, Marcus allowed a final thought to settle in his mind. The victory was complete, but the war, the exploration, and the challenges were far from over. Somewhere in the darkness, new threats waited. But humanity would meet them with the same ingenuity, courage, and unity that had brought them through this battle. The stars sparkled like distant fires, the void stretched endlessly, and the human fleet pressed onward. Victory had been achieved, but humanity's journey in the galaxy was only beginning.